Thank you.
Peter Stone was a man ruled by fear, an emotion that eats away a man's reason. But that wasn't evidence. I told Stone how tough the situation was.
It's okay, Mr. Matthews. I know you can't do anything. Maybe for somebody else, but not for me.
I didn't say that.
You don't have to. I'm Peter Stone.
The fault, dear Brutus, is in ourselves, not in our stars. Ever hear that? Well, Shakespeare wrote that over 300 years ago, but it applies to you. You were under suspicion because of all the things you did.
Yeah, I know. I do everything wrong.
You know, I can understand almost everything except what you were doing with a gun, a Colt 45.
Well, I got it for Louise. Well, there'd been a lot of trouble in our neighborhood. Guys came to the door, said it was a gas man or a telegram, anything to get in. Of course, if the husband was there, they said it was a mistake. So I got this gun for Louise and showed her how to point it. Now, the way things break for me, it would have to be a 45 Colt. You don't believe me, do you?
Yes, I do. But before we go any further, let me ask you something. Do you want me to appeal this verdict?
I don't understand.
There's a gamble involved.
What kind?
You're alive now. If another jury finds you guilty, it could mean the gas chamber.
I guess it would. I'm Peter Stone. Do I have to decide now?
No. Think it over.
I guess wrong. I always do.
Stone, you're not the only one who has had bad breaks.
I know, but you've had some good ones, too.
Mr. Stone, you've had one good break.
Me?
A girl named Louise married you.
She shouldn't have. Somebody upstairs made a mistake.
You believe in somebody upstairs?
I used to.
Till when?
Until this thing happened. Do you expect me to believe in a God who puts innocent men in jail for life?
No. Just don't lose faith. Do you remember the 23rd Psalm?
Yeah, I think so.
It would be good medicine for someone who feels the way you do. Try it.
23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. About that appeal, Mr. Matthews, you go ahead and appeal the verdict. I'll take my chances. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
Now we had to find a basis for appeal. The next step was to interview Gladys Taylor, the 14-year-old schoolgirl who had made the eyewitness identification. Do you remember the day you saw a man in a car talking to Mr. Crawford? You never saw that man before, did you?
No.
And that day you saw him for maybe a minute or two. But 5 days later, when Mr. Stone was arrested, you positively identified him. How could you be so sure?
I just was.
Do you remember everything that well?
No, but this was important.
Why?
Because he killed Mr. Crawford.
But you didn't know he was going to.
No.
What happened that made you study his face so carefully that 5 days later you could positively identify him?
I just did, that's all. Why are you asking me all these things? They've already found him guilty.
We're appealing the case, Gladys.
You mean there's going to be another trial? Will they put my picture in the paper again?
They might.
They did last time.
That's important to you, isn't it, Gladys? Is it as important as sending a man to prison for his whole life? Listen to me, Gladys. Peter Stone is in prison tonight, and one of the reasons is that you said you saw him giving Mr. Crawford a lift. I want you to stop and think before you answer this question. Are you positive the man in the car was Peter Stone?
I thought he was.
You thought he was. This was one break, but it wasn't enough. At midnight, Martha and I were still trying to find a new angle.
But you're sorry you ever got mixed up with this office?
Sorry, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the lesson.
What lesson?
How to cross-examine a witness. No jury will believe that Taylor girl when you get through questioning her.
Yeah, that's not enough. There's still so much that we have to prove.
The worst, of course, was having that car painted so soon after the murder.
What's the name of that paint shop?
Shore, Bernard Shore, over in Lincoln Boulevard.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll stop by there the first thing in the morning.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Bart Matthews, Public Defender's Office. Peter Stone's new lawyer.
Say, you got a tougher job than me.
Oh, since you're a friend of his, I wonder if...
Oh, Nellie. Say, you better go back and touch second base. That creep's no friend of mine.
You testified that you went bowling with him every Monday night.
Say, listen, when a guy tries to tie me in with a murder he committed, I write him off my book.
He says he's innocent.
Well, if you can find an honest bookmaker, you can get 100 to 1 on that.
What makes you so sure?
Well, why shouldn't I be? When a guy comes into me the way he did, well, I've got to protect myself, don't I? Good morning. Can I help you? Hey, P, what happened to the spinach? Oh,
Shade it off.
hey, there's something else different, too. You haven't got the cheetahs on. You're going to be throwing all those balls in the gutter.
Hey, listen, Blub, I'd like to get the car painted.
But, Pete, it don't need it.
Well, I'm just tired of the gray.
You're no off the street, Oscar. And, Pete, I can level with you. I can't do this good a job.
Oh, I don't care. I'm just tired of the color.
All right, but it'll cost you.
I'll pay, don't worry. How quick can you get it?
What color do you want?
Oh, any color, you pick it. Just so long as it isn't gray. Look, Blub, if anybody asks, say you did the job last month.
What's up, Doc?
Well, nothing. Just say you did it last month, okay?
Sure.
Thanks.
There you are, and I'll leave it to you.
Tell me, were there any blood stains in the car?
I didn't see any. Why?
If he shot Crawford, there would have been.
Well, unless he made Crawford get out first. I'm sorry, Doc. I hate to see anybody swing. But it's none of my business.
Thanks. The further our investigation went, the worse things looked. Martha and I studied the transcript of Stone's trial again and again. Then I had a call that Peter Stone's wife was outside with young Eddie Kennedy. What'd you be saying to Mrs. Stone? Oh, that's right, Eddie. You sit down, too. Hey, what happened to your arm?
I fell off the tree again.
Oh, that's too bad. You know, Eddie, do you remember that package Mr. Stone gave you that night?
Sure. I'm sorry, but I had to tell the judge and everybody about the gun. I didn't want to get Mr. Stone in trouble.
Oh, of course you didn't. And don't you worry, Eddie. We all want you to tell the truth.
Okay.
Now, I've been reading everything that you said at that trial. And you know that they all forgot to ask you one question?
What?
Well, Eddie, if I were a boy 10 years old and someone gave me a package to throw off the pier, I think I would have done just what you did. I would have taken a look, too.
But Mr. Stone didn't say not to look.
Well, you're right. And if I were a 10-year-old boy and I opened up that package and found a gun, I think I would have kept it and hid it someplace real good.
I'll get him.
Who?
You know who. Porky. He's the only one I showed it to.
You mean I'm right, Eddie? You didn't throw that gun off the pier?
I'll fix him.
Eddie, where is the gun? Eddie, why didn't you tell me? That gun might get Mr. Stone out of jail.
How?
Well, if we can prove that it didn't fire the bullet that killed Mr. Crawford, we'll be able to free Mr. Stone.
Can they do that?
Every gun leaves different markings on bullets. Now, please, Eddie, what did you do with the gun that Mr. Stone gave to you?
My mother took it away from me.
And is your mother home now?
She was at home when I picked Eddie up.
Come on, Eddie, let's all go out and see your mother, huh?
Okay. Hi, Mom.
Where have you been now? Can't I take my eyes off of you for 1 minute? If you're not getting hit with that plane or falling off the fence and breaking your arm, you're disappearing. Oh, Edward, I swear you'll be the death of me yet.
I went with Mrs. Stone.
Alice, he was supposed to tell you we went to see Pete's lawyer.
Well, he didn't, Louise.
Now, Mrs. Kennedy, your son says that you took